Adam was mentioning there is a lot to coordinate. You have the current president, of course, and all of the security detail, Secret Service that accompany President Biden. And then you have the Secret Service that accompanies the former president and the former first ladies who are in attendance today. So everybody's getting on the same page, I'm sure, and things will start moving very soon for this tribute service to get underway. And that should happen within the hour. We're going to carry it for you live right here, both on air and online.
Our live team coverage continues with Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm. She's live on the campus of Emory University.
So, Rebecca, tell us what you're seeing on your end.
Well, Rick and Tracy, it was really interesting. Probably 10-15 minutes ago, North Decatur Road was empty, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. We had quite the motorcade pull into North Decatur right in front of Glen Memorial United Methodist Church. And as you might imagine, there is quite a presence of Secret Service here with the sitting president and vice president here, along with a former president and several former first ladies. The dignitary everyone is watching for, though, is former President Jimmy Carter. He is 99 years old, and he's been in hospice care since February, but all indications are that he will be here for this important tribute service celebrating the life of his wife of 77 years. The service will feature some of Mrs. Carter's favorite scriptures and songs, including a musical tribute from family friends Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood. So that should be really special. We also expect to hear remarks and readings by the Carter's daughter Amy, their son Chip, and grandson Jason, among others. Now, I want you to take a look at this list of some of the dignitaries we're expecting to attend. Of course, President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden, former President Bill Clinton and his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Second Gentleman Doug Emhoff. Also expected, former First Lady Laura Bush, former First Lady Michelle Obama, former First Lady Melania Trump, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, and Atlanta Mayor Andre Dickens. Now, the Carter's grandchildren are going to serve as honorary pallbearers. This is, of course, an invitation-only service, but we're noticing a lot of people are here. I don't know if Joe is able to kind of pan the camera around. You can see several people, perhaps from the nearby area, just here to show their respects and hopefully get a glimpse of Mrs. Carter as the casket comes by carrying the body of the former First Lady. There's not a sense of sorrow here, but a sense of pride and a sense of a life well lived. 96 years serving others, and that's exactly what Mrs. Carter did. We'll send it back to you guys now.
Rebecca, thank you.